Welcome to the program agenda. Hey, have a pleasant morning and stick around. Join us. It's September 2021, Thursday. And for those of you not familiar, I will show you why September 2021 seems to ring a bell. Anyway, it's a Tuesday. And before we get on with the day, may I remind you that you are watching us via Cignal TV, channels 8 and 250. And for those of you who are not watching us via Cignal TV, I would like to invite you to subscribe to Cignal TV. And if you want, you can even download the Cignal Play app so you can watch our programs on the go. Meanwhile, for those of you who have not yet done so or would like to have other options, you can also continue to watch us on facebook.com/OneNewsPH and on YouTube, OneNewsPH. Okay, and those of you who want to reach us, ito po, no? Again, I'm telling you, it's personal. I'm the one handling this phone. The number is 0968 704-7736. And in that matter, I'd like to thank Alan Blackmon, Chep Espina, and all those who have been texting us and sending us message like Benny Cosep on how to improve the show or topics they're interested in. Also, Roy Regoso and Pastor Jure Mora. Good morning to you guys. Anyway, let's go on with the program. Let's start with our daily starter. And for today, okay, there you go. Our daily starter is from Zechariah 4:10. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Now, this is a daily starter that is very close, very personal, close to my heart, because when I was starting in media, when it became apparent that the Lord wanted me to go into media instead of building resorts in Palawan, I landed, a first job I landed in media was as a columnist for a tabloid called Issue. It was a small tabloid called Issue, and the editor-in-chief publisher was Jarius Bondok, who is now our senior columnist, my elder in the Philippine Star. Now, when after that was followed by a job on radio in a small radio again, DWWW, and it had probably one of the weakest signals back then. And after a while, I was kind of wondering and started asking the Lord, Lord, if you are the God of the universe and you want me to go into media, why do you put me in small outfits? Parang, is this it? Is this where I'm supposed to be? And when I read the Bible, that the Lord led me to this, to Zechariah 4:10. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. So, habang tayo, while we are kind of like looking so far ahead, God is enjoying the moment. He is enjoying that we followed Him, we obeyed Him, and that we are doing the work that He called us to do. And the Lord does not make, if the Lord were to reveal all of His plans to us, baka mabulunan kayo. You might go into a shock, you might burn out and quit. And I'm sure there are many people in government now who, if they had known what was in store for them, may not have run for public office or accepted a job. So do not mock the days of small beginnings, because as far as I'm concerned, those small beginnings led to bigger and better opportunities and challenges, like working in a network, working on other TV shows, on radio, and being a columnist in the Philippine Star. So I just want to remind you, for our daily starter, enjoy what you have, small as it may be. It may be a startup. Enjoy that. Speaking of startup and businesses, we're going to have that topic later. But before that, let's go to the Philippine Star. And for in the headlines of the Philippine Star, there we go. 120 schools to reopen for in-person classes. PRRD, or President Rodrigo Duterte, approved limited face-to-face classes in 100 public schools and 20 private schools in areas classified as low-risk areas. This will be a 2-month pilot test and will be implemented immediately, subject to the agreement of the local governments concerned and DepEd finalizing the list of the 120. At the top of the front page, we have Senate releases SAL-N, Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth. And the top, the winner is Senator Cynthia Villar, still the richest. And medyo nabulaga. I got the shock of my life when they printed the number. 3,875,696,000 pesos net worth of Cynthia Villar, followed by Senator Manuel Manny Pacman Pacquiao, 3,187,092. Okay? And at the bottom end of the list is Senator Laila De Lima, 9,544,111. Baka halaga na lang yan ng bahay at lupa ni Senator De Lima. And back to the front page of the Philippine Star, we have a photo on the upper left corner of a student who is multitasking, taking care of her pet puppy. And there you go, the top end, taking care of her pet puppy, taking care of her family's food store, sidewalk eatery, and doing her homework. Ayan na po, ganyan na po ang buhay ng estudyante ngayon. Okay. And in the middle of the header top portion, we have the COVID-19 tally of cases. Okay, let's go to the tally of COVID cases. Please. We have lower numbers for yesterday. It was only 18,937. Kahapon in the area of 19,000. Deaths were in the area of 200. Now it's only 146 as of yesterday. Hindi ko po nilalang lang yan. Comparison lang po. But still, we are increasing. 36,934 people have died, and I think it would be safe to assume, hindi naman sa I'm wishing for it, but all probability points that by tomorrow, that number will be in the 40,000 range of dead people or people dying from COVID-19. Okay, and below that tally, COVID cases in the last 28 days, according to the data gathered by the John Hopkins Medical University, okay, or John Hopkins University in Maryland. Okay, now, in the middle, on the middle part of the Philippine Star, sad news, and it's always sad news regardless of what it is, but it's sad news when we find out that, okay, well, the story is the Julian Ongpin, a businessman and son of a well-known businessman, was arrested for possession of illegal drugs, and his friend or companion, an artist named Bree Johnson, was found unconscious in the room they had booked and was eventually declared dead on arrival. So, yan po, no? Ironic that yesterday, Professor Clarita Carlos was pointing out that walang nahuhuling mga mayayaman o matataba o mga sikat. Well, unfortunately, that was turned around by the headlines that happened in La Union. And yun po, no? And below that story, we have Pacquiao declaration illegal according to his enemies in the PDP Laban Kusi faction. They are saying that the pronouncement or announcement of Pacman that he is running for president under PDP Laban is illegal, and the assembly of his 10,000 supporters, online, virtual, and physical, were illegal because they are the illegal PDP Laban. Nako, magkakaalaman na yan. Pagdating sa COMELEC, magkakaalaman kung sino ang legitimate wife, legitimate party. Anyway, let's go forward to the front page, and on the bottom left of the Philippine Star, we have a photo of a plaque commemorating martial law. Today is September 21, 2021, 49 years, 49 years to the date after President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law. And below that palace, below that photo, you have Malacanang won't let ICC probers come to the Philippines. In spite of the suggestions of several camps, Malacanang stands firm na hindi sila makakapasok sa Pilipinas. Okay. And last two stories, we have the opposition, according to Eta Rosales, co-convener excuse me, of the Isang Bayan group and former Commission on Human Rights Commissioner, says that the opposition is divided between Lenny and Isko. Okay, so ayan po ang problema dyan. Hindi pa sila magkaintindihan o magkasundo. Sino ba talaga? Kung ayaw nyo kay Lenny o ayaw nyo kay Isko, pero sino naman ang pupwede? Okay, so and last but not the least, the Crown TV series or ewan ko kung TV series pa ba yun o film or whatever, dominated the Emmys, okay? And that's a photo on the bottom right of the Philippine Star. Olivia Colman won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series for her portrayal of Queen Elizabeth in Netflix The Crown. Okay, I would encourage our viewers if you can go online, please read the Philippine Star, especially today kasi ang dami pong mga importanteng balita in the inside pages of the Philippine Star. I just can't get to it because it's already 8:14. My executive producer is going to make busina again, sir. Go to our interview. Okay, but before that, hanap tayo. Sandali, okay, let's go. There we go. Today, I said earlier that we will be talking about business-related matters on one end, and on the bottom end, we will speak with the doctor regarding this segregationist daw o itong bakuna bubble, discriminatory daw. But before that, let's talk to two individuals who represent SharePHIL, a non-stock, non-profit organization with a mission to protect and promote the interests of minority shareholders and retail investors through financial literacy and investor education program. Their purpose is to enable Filipinos to invest wisely, achieve financial security, and contribute to the sustainable socio-economic growth of the country. Now, let's bring in their representatives. Jimmy Ismael, he is President and CEO of Healthway Philippines. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they are a medical facility providing doctors, medical services, technical services, yung mga x-ray, blood test, etc. Kasi kanya ako alam dahil doon ako nagpapatingin bago kami tumakbo dito sa Lipa dahil sa COVID-19 dyan sa Metro Manila. He is also Chairman, President, and CEO of Ortigas Land Corporation. And joining him will be Boots Garcia, Chairperson and President of Mageo Consulting, a company providing corporate finance advisory. Boots Garcia was also Chairperson and Director of Basis Conversion and Development Authority from 2011 to 2016. Also head of Global Corporate Finance Division at CC Gores Belayo and Company. Alam nyo, nagtataka ako dapat inisa-isa na lang kayo ni Arbic kasi ang sarap mag-interview given your individual background. So anyway, Jimmy, Boots, welcome to the program.
Magandang umaga, Cito.
Good morning, Cito.
Okay, now let me start with all due respect to you, Boots. If you would allow, I'll start with Jimmy because
gender equality. I am gender equal. I respect gender equality.
Okay, no, because I'm just curious because you know, if you listen to my intro, some people might say, ano ba yan? May mapapala ba ako dyan? Ano ba yung pakinabang niyan sa akin? I'm sorry, I'm bringing it down, down to, a regular person's level. So, Jimmy, kasi when they told me, sir, guess natin yung SharePHIL, sabi ko, pwede ba? Ni share of stock nga, wala ako eh. Ni SharePHIL pa kayo dyan. What are you really all about?
Okay, well, Cito, SharePHIL initially started as an organization that is really focused on shareholders, primarily retail investors, in the investing in the stock market. But actually, we have redefined our scope to actually cover the broader spectrum of Filipino investors, to include all investors in the Philippine capital markets, whether they be holders of shares or just investing in REITs or other instruments, fixed income securities. So it's really intended to really capture a wider audience now. And our mission is really to educate, enable, and empower these small investors so that they will be guided on how to invest their hard-earned money in the right institutions and the right instruments that hopefully will create wealth for them and enable them to contribute positively to the sustainable economic growth of the country. So it has already broadened. It's not just limited to the shareholders, because as you said, not that many Filipinos are currently invested in the stock market. But our objective is to bring that number up and also widen their views on other capital market instruments that they can invest in.
But how popular is this investment attitude among Filipinos, and what is the profile of this people, Boots? Kasi
Yeah.
parang, alam mo, nung tinatanong ako ng mga bata, Sir, bibili ba ako ng ganitong share? Alam nyo mga anak, kung hindi ko nakikita, hindi ko natitikman, hindi ko nahahaplos, hindi ko ginagalaw.
Okay. Just to respond to you, and on your first question, yes, the number of investors is rather limited at this point in time. But I'd like to share the information that was also shared with us by the Stock Exchange COO last recently. That, in fact, the number of during the pandemic or during the last 10 years, the number of small investors has actually increased. No, so
Mhm.
according to their information, there's something like 1.4 million plus of people who have opened stock market accounts. So that's an indication that the public has gotten more familiar or educated, so to speak, about investing in the stock market. For precisely for this reason, SharePHIL exists because we want to educate. We want to educate the public, and we want to help mobilize the savings, which is, typically just placed perhaps in under their bed, so to speak, or sometimes sinasabi natin nakalagay lang sa baul, that they
Mhm.
invest this in different types of instruments, including shares of stocks, bonds, etc., REITs, so that the investment or the money will grow, apart from the fact that the monies that they invest in will help actually fuel the economy in terms of providing funds to the capitalists who will make investments out of this. So yun ang pakay namin sa SharePHIL.
Mhm.
Matuto sila. Actually, our motto, or rather our four pillars, are educate, okay? We teach them, we provide them with education. Second, we empower them so they know what their rights are, what they should be asking for from their investee companies. We engage them through webinars, events, etc., where we invite speakers who can talk about topics of interest to them and help them also make investment decisions. So
Okay,
that
now,
is how is being run, right?
yeah, but okay, so Jimmy, what's the profile of potential investors? Kasi alam mo, I used to be part-time motoring journalist, and when they would announce the value of a car, ang next question namin ano tatakbo yung monthly down payments niyan? And we eventually always find ourselves canceled out kasi can't afford kami sa mga bagong kotse. Dito sa mga shares of stocks, bonds, securities, etc., who qualifies for those?
Well, it's actually available to all, regardless of the income class. Even the small investors are already have the ability to actually invest their money in different investment instruments. No, the participation amount can be as low as a few thousand pesos, or a few hundred. And in fact, there are also actually vehicles where they can actually be part of a pooled fund, that invest in securities, whether it be shares of stock or bonds, fixed income, or even now REITs. So
Mhm.
technically, and we've seen also, as mentioned by Boots earlier, a significant increase in the number of small investors that are now participating, because it's actually reachable. No, you can actually, for a small amount, participate through these various vehicles, either a fund, or you can go online investing through. In fact, that has taken off significantly over the last couple of years. No, there are already hundreds of thousands of online investors who can actually participate. No? So it's really, it democratizes wealth creation to a certain extent by enabling small investors to actually participate in the capital markets. No?
Boots, I've always been, I always have the impression, been given the impression that to be a real player or to be a legitimate investor, you need to buy at least 500 to 1,000 shares or 10,000 shares of yung tinatawag nilang blue chip companies na
Mhm.
San Miguel, PLDT, yung mga ganun. But in real terms, what Jimmy was saying, what does it take to be a real, to be a legitimate player?
As Jimmy has said nga, you don't need to really have a big investment to, you know, to enjoy, rather, what do you call this, to gain, to have gainful returns from your investment. And that's exactly
Mhm.
what we want to correct. No, that there are
Okay.
many, as Jimmy says, we have the market has been democratized. You can invest as small as, well, for example, 50,000 pesos for some of the issues that are coming up. And as well, of course, part of the education that we're also trying to impart on our investors is that to choose the investments that will uh, provide you with your desired returns, as well as also be, shall we say, responsive to your particular investment objectives. No?
Mhm.
So, hindi naman kailangang malaking-malaking invest mo. Pag kailangan, katulad ng sinabi mo nung umpisa mo, quoting your
Mm.
proverb, pag-umpisa ka sa maliit, di ba? If you were
Good,
to
true.
put it to practice, start small. In the course of, as you invest diligently and, shall we say, intelligently, your portfolio will increase and it will reach a point na malaki na rin siya. No? It will become a significant part of your wealth, so to speak. So
Okay,
pwede
now
mag-umpisa sa maliit at lumaki.
Okay, now you guys are, I mean, when I look at your profiles, you are very busy people. You are doing so many things na parang, hello, may panahon pa kayo to help others, enable and educate and publicize this. Parang, what's in it for you and what's in it for the country? Kasi parang, I'm, wondering, why would I bother to make time out sa dami nga ng trabaho ko unless there's something really at stake here? What's at stake?
Jimmy, you wanna go ahead?
Okay, sure. Well, you're right. We are well quite busy with what we're doing, but
Mhm.
we all share a common advocacy, and that's what binds us together. Now, we are all very committed in terms of helping develop the capital markets, especially educate the smaller investors. I think we are very passionate in terms of being able to pay it forward because we ourselves, like me, started just like everybody else, no? And just because of sheer hard work and I guess being exposed to the basics of investment, we were able to actually reach our current stature. No, so we believe that by educating the Filipinos, no, the small investors, that we will be doing the country a great service, and we'll put in our little share in terms of improving the lives of Filipinos and contributing to socio-economic development. So I think it's more that passion, that like-minded commitment that we all share in actually helping the country, helping the small investors create wealth and
Yeah.
improve their stature in life.
Yeah, you're talking about, where small people or small investors can put their money, may hopefully grow it and become better at it. Now, I've always been told that most companies go into IPOs, public offerings, they sell their shares, not because they're saints, but because they need more money to grow their company. Kumbaga, other people's money invested in their company helps them grow. Now, Boots, I see you nodding. Can you explain this concept or how this thing operates and how it benefits the economy?
Well, exactly, no? As I was saying earlier, there's a lot of money actually
Mm-hmm.
floating somewhere. We're one country where people our savings rate is low, hindi ba? And in
Yeah.
fact, the objective is to drive this savings, to move this savings rather to productive uses through the stock market.
Hmm.
So when we're able to bring all this money into the stock market, and we have companies who are able to utilize the money in the process, one, the investor gains from the dividends. Second, the company issuing or doing the IPO is able to utilize the funds to grow, expand its business, and ultimately, the impact will be on the entire economy. So the benefit runs from the individual, the source of the fund, the company which uses the fund, and the country which is eventually benefited by the investment activities, expansion activities, and growth initiatives of the listed companies.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, there's an overall impact. Yeah,
Do you see
I'm sorry.
your sector your sector particularly uh, eventually filling the void that the banking industry is experiencing right now? Kasi may mga nagsasabi sa akin, hindi na nag-iimpok. Filipinos are, very poor at saving money. There's
Yeah,
the money in the banks are diminishing. Although marami
value.
pa rin, it's still
Right.
diminishing. And pag nawala yan, saan kukuha ng kapital for pautang, for loans,
Right.
for investments, etc.? Do you see your sector uh, filling the gap in terms of, oy, mag-invest na lang kayo dito kasi mas higher return sa shares kaysa sa bank deposit?
Part of that is an education process nga, that there are
Mhm.
risks attendant or are related to the various types of investments. Of course, putting your money in a bank or in a government security is the safest, but as you just said, the returns will be smaller. But then
Mhm.
again, you have the option of going to the equity markets where the risk will be higher and the returns will likely be higher as well. So there has to be a process of understanding the risk rewards, so that
Yeah.
investors will make the appropriate decision. I'm not saying that the stock market or the capital markets will substitute for banks, no, but I think the we should view it as complementary, so that a particular investor, a particular person who has money might put some of his money in the bank, some of it in the stock market, some of it in bonds, so he diversifies his portfolio in the process.
Yeah, but by being a shareholder or investor, and because of the shift to the digital economy and digital banking, a person who invests in shares can monitor what's happening with his money. Sa bangko, tulog eh. And
Bank
lumili.
statement or,
Yeah.
anong tawag doon?
Okay. Now, Jimmy, please don't get me wrong. I'm trying to simplify things. I can make it very complicated. I can make it very technical, but I don't think people will love me for doing that. No, I don't want to sound smart. Pero, quick question lang, no? Before we talk about your forthcoming summit. Honestly, some people might ask, what's the difference between the casino and the stock market?
Okay. Well, they're totally different. Significantly, the differences are very significant.
In terms of risk factors, Jimmy,
Yes, definitely, definitely.
oh,
Well, the odds of winning or making money in a casino are very low statistically, no?
mhm.
And unlike in a capital market or if you invest in a company, if you choose wisely, of course, will have to make that colatilia. That's why we're here, a SharePHIL, to ensure that everybody is aware and takes effectively chooses the right investment for their risk profile. At least in the stock market, you actually invest. No, you don't. Well, of course, the casino, it's a very high risk proposition with very high returns if you win. But statistically, the chances of winning are is low. But if it were and money invested in the stock market or in a company in particular, at least by doing the right things in terms of investment, you see your investment being growing through dividends, no? Steady flow of dividends plus capital market appreciation when you invest in equity. So the returns that you get, the total returns that you get, is what you receive by way of dividends as well as capital appreciation because the stock price increases. But of course, you have to choose wisely. And
Yeah.
and then the other instrument is fixed income naman, no? With where you invest in bonds, no, which is also our advocacy. The important rin yung credit rating of the company, but it gives you the coupon, the interest coupon, and at the end of the term, you get back your principal. So the return is not as high, but it's relatively less risky compared to an investment in stocks in a company. So iba-iba yung risk return profile depending on what you choose. But casino is totally
Y-
different. It's not a
Kasi,
savings instrument.
yeah, kasi sa casino, I think I'm being conservative by saying it's a 95 to 5 odds. 95% panalo yung casino, 5% manalo ka against the casino. Sa sabong, sa online sabong, 50-50. Kung hindi ka malasin, 50-50 ang chance mo. But how about in shares, in stocks? What is the, I mean, pasensya na, this is how I teach the public eh. Ah,
Yes.
kung pumusta ako sa stock market, anong percentage potential ko for wins?
Well, it depends again on a lot of factors. No, you're choosing the right company to invest
Mhm.
in the right industry, in the right at the right time.
Yeah, no,
Also,
but I mean, Jimmy,
but the
you know,
average, maybe the
average.
average is probably 80%. You'll get the returns, and then 20% you might lose your shirt. No, if you,
Mhm.
it's definitely the odds are better than a casino or
Or
a sabong,
sabong.
for example. No, but
Yung
that's
sa
why we yeah. Go ahead,
Yung sa
please.
bonds boots, yung sa bonds, yung sinabi mo, Jimmy, I know that's a safe bet. Bibili ka ng 10-year bond, 5-year bond,
You're
makukuha
right.
mo yung principal mo after 5 years. Pero what happens in relation to depreciation yung of money, 'di ba? Kasi as you go through time, yung peso natin pababa ng baba yung power niya, yung purchasing power niya, etc. How do you
Well, yeah.
yeah, but
Gaya,
please.
gaya nga ng sabi ni Jimmy, ang bond, yung principal, siguradong matatanggap mo. At kung
Mhm.
ano yung coupon, yung tinatawag nilang coupon, anong interest rate na bibigay, matatanggap mo yon. Okay? So definitely, syempre talagang may depreciation in value, especially if inflation increases, no?
Mhm.
Pero if you're an astute investor, what you do is to also protect you from eroding the value of your investment, so to speak. The money that you earn, the coupon rate, the interest income that you earn over the life of the bond, you should also reinvest. So parang in a
Mm.
way, you balance off the possible depreciation of your investment by continuing to invest naman whatever returns you get to the point na hopefully by the end of the term of the bond, patas lang. You neither gain nor lost. I
Okay.
would view it that way, you know. Kaya
Okay.
nga kailangan ngang maintindihan ng publiko kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng mga iba't ibang klase ng investment na yan para maintindihan nila. At saka ano, kung seryoso ka sa investment mo, kailangan mo mag-aral at kailangan mong bantayan, no? Kasi hindi yung katulad ng sinasabi mo,
Yeah,
naiwan ko
Boots.
na lang, bahala na si Batman, no?
Oh,
Di ba?
Boots, pero you said mag-aral, no? And are there books on this? Do you
No, there's
guys
a
give
lot of online
tutorial?
training. There's a lot of online training going on. In fact, ikwento ko rin sa'yo na during the pandemic, the number of online transactions increased. It appeared
Mhm.
that people took advantage of the fact that that's where technology and digitalization actually became an important consideration because we're not able to go to the brokers and talk to them. A lot of transactions were being done online, and there are many sources of information. Even brokers themselves provide information about listed companies. So you just have to be diligent, no? Sipag ka lang ng konti,
Who,
pag-aral ka kasi Lalo na kung hard-earned money mo yan, I
Mm.
think it's incumbent upon you na bantayan mo, di ba?
Okay, ito ba tinuturo sa college, Jimmy? Kasi parang nung nasa college ako, hello, math and accounting lang ang tinuro sa amin, eh, walang
Mas matanda lang kami
investments.
ng konti sa'yo, pero hindi natin pinag-aralan yan.
Pareho tayo. Well, tama ka. Unfortunately, I think hindi siya ganun ka. Palagay ko tinuturo for some, but not. It doesn't. It's not consistent across all the universities, But
Mhm.
yes, that's why it's important to really start young, start them young. In fact, SharePHIL's advocacy is also to reach out to the students, no, while they are still students, because to supplement what they are getting or not getting in school in terms of investor education. So
Mhm.
in all of our webinars, we make them available for free. And in fact, even partner with universities to actually allow their students to actually watch or participate or enroll in our webinars. So but that's really part of our mission to really
Okay.
spread that investing
Jim,
mindset.
Boots, pasensya na, no? May nag-overtime na naman ako sa very interesting. Sinabi ko na nga ba, kailangan separate ang interview
Pwede
sa inyo.
naman eh. We're always
But
available.
okay, we'll do
Anytime,
that.
anytime, Cito.
But quickly, yung sa summit, you guys are going to do a summit. When, where, and what's it going to be about, and who will be there?
Jim, you want to do that? Yeah.
Sige. Well, one of SharePHIL's flagship program is this summit, no, which we've been doing over the last more than 5 years, and this is really to feature companies based on the theme that we are actually developing every year. To provide investors, no, our various stakeholders, the opportunity to listen to captains of industry and those who are leading companies that are leading the charge towards economic growth. This year, this is part two of our summit, no, entitled Building Better Businesses, shifting the focus from shareholders to stakeholders. And this will be held on September 28th from 2 to 4 p.m. This follows the first summit, which actually took into account the emerging industries in the technology side, telcos, e-banking, as well as e-commerce, to showcase what they have done to adjust to the new norm, to provide accessibility and to our investors in line with our theme of promoting inclusive economic growth through smart investing. Now, part two will feature the bricks and mortar companies, no, that are also expected to lead the charge towards economic recovery because of the significant multiplier effects that they have on businesses. No? So this time, we will be, and the focus is really more, aside from talking about what they're doing, also talk about how they're effectively conducting their business in an inclusive manner. Meaning, how do they actually ensure that their business affect all the stakeholders positively, no? Not just their customers, not just the shareholders, no, which is the traditional concept. We are here for our shareholders, but we are here for our stakeholders effectively, because we have to take care of our customers. We have to provide livelihood to our employees. We have to be a good citizen to our community, the LGU partners, and also a custodian of the environment. So by
Okay.
highlighting three industries, no, in the infrastructure, real estate, and manufacturing business, hopefully we can educate again the public investors and the public at large on what to look forward to in terms of this economic recovery through these companies, what they're doing, no, to help in the economic recovery in an inclusive manner.
Okay.
So that's
Well,
really the essence. Huh?
yeah, thank you, Jimmy, Ismael, and Boots Garcia for joining us this
Thank you.
morning, and hope to learn from you more. And now that I am keeping tabs on all of this, you will definitely be invited back kasi ang dami nating pwedeng pag-aralan on investments and also on the future direction of business. Have a good day, Boots and
You.
Jimmy. God bless both of you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yan po, Jimmy Ismael, Boots Garcia, SharePHIL. Remember, they're having their summit September 28th. Look it up, Share Philippines, because I listened to the summit, the first summit, and yung sinabi nung PLDT official, I just can't remember his name, forgive me, became true. It actually happened in the year that followed kung ano yung nangyari. And I have a feeling that if you listen to this summit, you will get a feel of what's ahead of us. Anyway, let's go now to the other concern for the morning or for the week. We have with us a person representing the concerned doctors and citizens of the Philippines, or CDCPH, Dr. Iggy Agbayani, to discuss with us why they have issues. Oh, Iggy, nandiyan ka na pala. I was surprised that CDCPH took a position counter to this bakuna bubble, this segregation of the vaccinated compared to the unvaccinated, etc. Could you explain to our viewers where you're coming from? Oops, you're on mute.
Hi, good morning, Cito.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me again. I think it was last year when I was here, no? Yes, we have this position. Certainly, first of all, we're not anti-vax, no? But I think the segregation issue is a big problem because unscientific. It really doesn't make sense that you segregate the unvax from the vax, especially when the data is still coming in, whether it really is transmissible or not. So that's the basic issue why we are against this, because you don't just segregate people, di ba? Parang inhumane eh. Parang, where's my rights that I can go in and the others can go in? So they have to prove without doubt first na talagang it really works.
Yeah, but Iggy, what's your response to the fact that even the most developed countries are already applying this principle or this strategy without the science? I mean, they're not even bothering with the science because they're saying that science, sure, but the economies are dying, and we need to drive the economy forward, and the vaccinated people won't contaminated the vaccinated, but the reverse, vice versa. If the modern or the developed countries are doing it, uh, how can we argue for science?
Al- Alam mo, Sito, in my observation, meron yung capitalist science at meron yung independent science. I suppose they're forcing the issue. They're using all these techniques to really almost mandate the vaccine. But if I would like to raise the points why I think it's not unscientific, number one, you can still be contagious even if you're vaccinated. And the CDC itself said so. That's why they said that you should wear a mask even if you're vaccinated. And I could even cite the studies that they use. In fact, there's another recent one that came from Vietnam that shows that in the doctors in a certain hospital, mas mataas pa by 200 times yung viral load ng mga na-vaccinate with this variant.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense that you would lock me up together with vaccinated.
Yeah, but
Na-
Iggy, sorry, Iggy, and I'm not trying to have an argument with you. I'm just trying to, draw out possible resolution or other ideas. Because on one hand, I'm 65. I'm vaccinated, fully vaccinated. But as far as NCR is concerned, I can't go out. As far as Batangas is concerned, I can't go out because we're still under GCQ. Now, some people would say that's discriminatory. I don't hear your group screaming bloody murder or injustice or discriminatory about 65 years old and above not being allowed even if they're fully vaccinated. And at the same time, 'di ba kayo rin yung nagpo-push ng ivermectin? and people are saying, or at least the CDC, who you quoted, also said in the US that it doesn't work or it's not a good idea. So could you just kind of put everything or put the blocks in order?
Yeah, tama ka Sito kasi nga 65 and above certainly at a higher risk. And
Mhm.
the scientific data has shown that na mas maraming namamatay po pag ikaw 65 and above if you have comorbidities like diabetes or obesity, hypertension, etc. So yes,
If you're
yes,
not vaccinated.
uh, regardless, I think you will still get sick nga even if you're vaccinated. But
Mhm.
yes, I have to agree, it will lessen po the symptoms. That's a problem now, no? So in fact, if you have less symptoms, but you still spew out the virus, then it's hard now to tell which one is the symptomatic and contagious. For example, I would take your temperature. You say that you're vaccinated. So wala
Mm.
kang lagnat. Okay, pasok na. Yung pala, asymptomatic ka lang. Because that is what the vaccine does.
Mhm.
You become less symptomatic. And yung, sabi nga nila, less hospitalization. But nakakahawa ka pa rin.
Mhm.
So that's the problem with
Yeah,
the whole
but
side.
Iggy, ang problem ko naman diyan, if you go to a mall, it's a private property. The owner of the mall, the owner of the restaurant, the salon, the barber shop have the right to say, if you're not vaccinated, you can't come in here because our staff are all fully vaccinated and we don't want to take the risk. I spoke to a couple of mayors and and lawyers. They've said they're well within their rights. They can do that because it's private property. What's your response to that? I mean, because that's where it's going to happen in the malls.
Well, it's their right. I agree. Then, of course, it's also a right not to go. Pero
Mhm.
it's discriminatory. I mean, what if we just told you without any scientific basis, you, mga matatanda, hindi po kayo pwede pumasok dito. Without basis. And what if we can show na pwede naman pala dahil hindi naman kayo nakakahawa? I mean, they do have that right, but it is discriminatory. It doesn't really
Mhm.
make it right also, just because
Mhm.
it's their right. Kasi sa akin lang unfair. No? And I would really like them to know the facts. And just look at the CDC. They have said so. Na you have to wear a mask despite the fact na may vaccine ka na. And as you mentioned nga, ivermectin, there are alternatives. Hindi naman po kailangan na ito lang ang paraan natin para makabalik po kayo. They're trying to make it a one-on-one thing. As
Mhm.
if the box is closed and you can go
But
out of the box.
what is your alternative? Because
Oh, yeah, yeah.
uh,
Thank you.
people can't go out. If we follow the principle of fairness, then nobody can go out.
No, no. That's why there is an alternative, which they
Which
don't want.
is,
Which they don't want to help at all. Number one, let's go to the most important one. That's the alternative treatment and prophylaxis. We are pushing for ivermectin because we've seen the evidence and it's meta-analysis na po, hindi na po just one study. Meta-analysis are groups of studies which have shown that it works. So you have an alternative to prevent it. You can use ivermectin for prophylaxis and treatment. Number two, there are other options of what should I say segregation then, pero it's a more fair segregation. Number
okay,
one,
can you hold that thought? I'll just go for a quick break. Baka mapagalitan ako. Okay, we'll go for a quick break and then I want to find out your alternative to segregation or your version. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program agenda, and you are watching us via Cignal TV channels 8 and 250, as well as on facebook.com/onenewsph. And thank you to PLDT for their home fiber optic internet service that keeps us going. Let's go back to our final guest, Dr. Iggy Agbayani of the Concerned Doctors and Citizens of the Philippines. Iggy, what is your alternative or version of segregation?
Apo, our alternative is actually includes vaccination. Hindi naman po sinasabi namin that vaccination is out. We think it's part of the way to increase nga yung tinatawag nilang population immunity. No? So one, we want that. Of course, it has to be safe and it has to be effective. Number two, we want it focused. For example, if you are above 70, you have diabetes that's uncontrolled, then you must see the doctor, have yourself classified. Now, we don't say na bawal sila. We're just saying that if you go out to a place na may, for example, a restaurant, you will risk it. Hindi po yung excluded. They're not excluded. But they are given a warning. In fact, restaurants can even allot a certain place for people with high risk. It doesn't have to be talagang tatanggalin sila, no? And I think they recognize that naman kung kayo may sakit. Kasi that is the most important segregation of all. If you are sick, you must be segregated. But now, because nga na-vaccinate, medyo mahirap na nga. Kasi nga, less symptoms. But I'm not against it, ano? Yes, please use vaccination for as long as it's safe and it works. So yun po, identify lang and then we can work it out better.
So it's like a version of the smokers, non-smoker section.
Well, I think so. But again, talagang required yan by law. May law na naman eh. Di ba? That is against to smoke in public. And we know for sure talaga namang na exposure to smoke. Even
So kung sasabihin nilang, okay, those fully vaccinated with cards, etc., they can dine inside. Those without vaccination can dine outside. Acceptable na sa inyo yun.
That's discrimination. Kasi nakahawa pa rin eh. Wala kang proof po na hindi siya nakahawa. Nakahawa pa rin. I mean, when you go in, there's such thing as breakthrough po. And like that, I was citing the data that was shared by the CDC itself that is still causing infection. So you go in there, you think you're vaccinated, you think you're safe, you go out, you become sick. Then you spread the... Kasi akala natin safe siya eh. It's not. You still have to wear a mask, you still have to protect yourself. Kasi I think the reason po ginagamit yan as is because they're over-promoting vaccines. May leak eh. It's not a perfect vaccine kasi. If it's a perfect vaccine, yes.
Well, I think Iggy, that's a totally different topic. So at the end of the day, you simply are against the segregation concept. You don't want discrimination, and then we will have to wait until what the IATF decides on the matter. Because I don't want to go into the vaccine. I think you and I both support vaccines, and I don't want to in any way or form cast aspersion or doubt on vaccines because I'm fully vaccinated. Are you?
No, I'm not. Because I'm a little scared. Why? And I have facts to base on it. And I'd like to research first before I get vaccinated.
Okay, well, at least you're being honest.
Wow.
Yeah. At least you're being honest. You're being honest about it. Anyway, thank you very much, Iggy, and I hope to talk to you in the near future, and especially because I discovered that you are actually a specialist in a field that I am very interested in, which is arthroscopy. Pag-usapan natin yan one of these days. Thank you very much, Iggy.
Thank you, Cito.
Okay, that's Dr. Iggy Agbayani, founding member, Concerned Doctors and Citizens of the Philippines. And ayan po, we now have to close the program. And before we do, I don't know if we managed to set it up. Let's we I think well that's it for the day, and I just want to leave you with this commanded blessing from the Lord. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his face towards you and give you peace. And when I say commanded blessing, the Lord said, God said, when you see your people, always say this to them because you are blessing them. I hope you are blessed. Thank you for watching Agenda. Please keep it here on One News. I'm Cito Beltran. Have a good day.